And don't forget to sign in if you haven't already. Okay, everybody, what is some gratitude that y'all have today? Share something good. Everyone's so tan. Y'all are like bronze biscuits over here. Yeah.
Just wanted to
That's
thank
typically my goal for the summer is to be like, yep, lightly buttered.
I just wanted to thank Tammy for doing an open house last weekend for me. And I want to thank Mike Walters for doing one for me this weekend. Appreciate you a lot.
Love it.
I want to thank Liza for hosting an awesome party at Echo on Thursday. That's where our tan came from, and we had a great time. It was well done. Thank you.
So fun. Thank you for bringing your boat.
I want to thank Lee and Mike for babysitting my listings while I was up in the Wyoming range fishing on the Grays River. Thank you.
I would like to thank Emma for doing an open house for me. Social media before. Also, Audrey and Liza helping me with social media. I am feeling older and older by the day. Thank you, everybody.
Love it.
I want to thank the office. My dog unexpectedly died while I was on vacation on Monday. The office sent me a nice little gift, and a bunch of you have reached out to me, and that's been really nice. So thank you so much.
Who else? Any gratitude? All right. What about bite-sized wins? Who is winning with AI? That was so quick. I'm so eager.
I had a miscellaneous bunch of ingredients at my house, and I was like, these are starting to go bad, and I don't know what to cook with these. So I put it all into ChatGPT and said, these are the ingredients at my house. I can go to the store. Please make me 7 different recipes that I can make with some of these ingredients. And I didn't like any of them. So I got to the list 30 before I got a recipe I made for dinner.
Heck yeah. What was it? Yeah. I love it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, so I had the opportunity this week to pull the market stats that I'm excited to share with you all, but I took them and put them into Claude to do the graphs and make it all pretty. And then I said, based on this information, tell me what conversations I should be having with a buyer this week. And it gave me a whole bunch of bullet points. And then I did the same thing. Tell me, based on this information, what conversation should I be having with the seller this week? And it gave me a whole bunch of bullet points. I got to pick the ones that I like, and you'll get to hear what they are.
I have someone looking to buy a new home with Symphony Homes, and they got the 21-page contract, loaded it into ChatGPT to understand what was going on, and he said it worked great.
There we go. Love it. Perfect. Y'all, AI is so powerful. Kimber, I think, is going to show us something later, but she had AI, an agent AI, go through her Canva and organized every single piece of her Canva into folders. And so what would have taken her days took her 40 minutes. And now it's all nice and organized. And she's doing her Google Drive next. And that is sexy. Yeah. So y'all, AI is so, so powerful. All right. We have a lot of guests and visitors here today. So Who wants to introduce themselves first?
My name is Trevor Stevens.
For the people online.
Gotcha. Okay. My name is Trevor Stevens. I'm with Sprinkler Master Repair, Salt Lake City. We cover effectively the north half of Salt Lake County. There is another franchise that does the southern half, but I'm just the northern half, and here to see if I can bring some value to your clients when it comes to sprinklers. So if you have any questions, I've got a whole bunch of different ideas. So.
Hi, my name is Sandra Johnson. I started my licensing classes yesterday. So just to see how.
Welcome, welcome. You're gonna crush it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Felipe Pacheco. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. I'm thankful for Liza for allowing me to come today. I am actually running for the board of directors for the Salt Lake Board of Realtors. And thank you. And so I felt it was important to come and get in front of people so they can see who's running. So often we get those emails every year and you're like, well, who's this person? How do I know nothing about them? So I different brokerages and say, hey, and quick intro. I'm the founder of Avanti Mortgage. I'm the founder of Forte Real Estate. I've been in lending for 22 years, of real estate for 9, and I have run both teams. So education is powerful. Knowledge is power. I sit on the education committee for the Salt Lake Board. I sat on the charity committee. I've been highly involved. If you guys have not been involved in the Salt Lake Board, I challenge you to please jump in, join the committees. The networking, the education is really powerful for what they do for us and also advocating for us. And so that's why I want to run for the Salt Lake Board and get on the directors table and be a voice for all of you guys. So thank you for having me. And I just want to pop in and say hello.
Hello there. My name is Mish. This is my second time here. Sorry if you can't hear me. I'm a few weeks deep into my coursework towards licensing, and yeah, you'll probably see me here over the next few weeks studying in some random nook. So I'll try to introduce myself, but feel free to come introduce yourself as well. And yeah, thanks so much.
Glad you're here.
I'm Olivia Pruitt. I'm with probably more familiar with Kelsey, but I'm her second half for the next little while. So I'll let you guys speak.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jerry Silva. I'm the president and co-founder of the Lionheart Gift Foundation. Your golf committee has brought us on board to be the give back for this year. Basically, we're a nonprofit that gives back to our first responders. So you guys have the opportunity to give back to your first responders, like your police officers, your firefighters, your military, your 911 dispatchers, your crime scene investigators. The golf tournament is September 10th, the day before 9/11. So that's actually a very awesome time to have us involved for obvious reason. We give back across the state of Utah. We've been founded since 2016, and we do some remarkable things throughout the state. I just met with the golf committee, and I'll just share this with you real quick. One of the things that we're trying to do is get more out into the rural areas. So we're helping a wildfire company that is out in the Tooele County area that has no funding for replacement of equipment. So they came to us, and we are helping them try to get new turnout gear. Turnout gear is about anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. That basically protects the firefighter from the flames and stuff like that, and they need 3. On top of that, they also need some new hoses and a bunch of other adapters to work these wildfires out in Tooele County. So that's one thing that we do. But then we give back to veterans, and the other thing we do is we've given over $60,000 to UVU Fire Academy, to future fire cadets that have made it through the Fire Academy and now working throughout the state of Utah. So you guys have an opportunity to be involved. please research us. Please go on social media, find us, follow us. We fill your heart one way or another. Thank you guys enough for bringing us on board, and Melanie, my good friend here, for nominating us. And thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And with that, we have Broker Day coming up here. Looking just
This one is going to be quick.
splendid.
I just want to, I actually tell them about 35 minutes ago. How'd I do? You tell me. I have to give a couple of kudos here, first of all. This last week, normally I come up here and I talk about things that, went wrong. But we have an agent that was involved in a nasty thing. All over the place. There were inspection issues. There were agents with attitudes and unresponsive clients. Our guy over a holiday weekend was meeting with inspectors, meeting with contractors, meeting with whatever, and Mark Robinette got his transaction closed yesterday. So kudos to Mark. I get a random email from a person that told me that one of our agents listed a couple of properties, and he submitted a full price offer. As a matter of fact, $5,000 more than a full price offer, buying the two of them. And our agent is not presenting the offer. Something nefarious is obviously going on. And I sold 500 homes in my market center, and then it starts leading into credentials and diddly. Goes through this whole thing. Then I say, who's our agent? And he tells me, and I start laughing. And I'm going, first of all, there's going to be another side of the story. And a lot of the agents in this market that I've known for years, this is probably one of the most professional, most honest, it's not about the money type thing. And so I sat down with Becky Harston, and I'm going, oh my God. And she's sending me, she's going, here's when he presented the offer. It wasn't even 24 hours before he said, so I wrote him a little letter back, and I dressed up my signature line with some. I don't usually do that, but it's kind of one of those. Real year, salesman 2 years, president of Salt Lake Ford. I went on down through this stuff. Never heard from him again, but Becky got some apologies. I listened to a lot of the things that go on, especially over a holiday weekend. And some of you guys, took the weekend off, and good for you. There's one thing this business is about. It's consuming business. You need to build time into yourself. This is the vehicle to drive you on the life you want and the life worth living. And so a lot of times when so that's kind of my defense. But in talking to Becky, both of us, when in his signature line, I've sent over or sold over 500 homes. I turned to Becky and I said, how many have you sold? And she starts laughing. She goes, I have no idea. I have no idea. And I go, well, I put a pencil to it. She's going, I really, this has never been about me and how many homes I've sold. She goes, I know that I've got well over 1,000 families that I don't be in the house. This is 500 homes. Right? So we started talking about that and celebrating firsts. We've got some brand new agents in there. Where's a brand new one? Brand new. Okay. Tell me a first. You've been licensed. She's back there going, oh God, he's there looking at me. I zoned out there. Okay. So here's a first for Emma. She went to her new member orientation and got access to the lock boxes and opened up your first lockbox last week, right? See, there's growth, right? New agents take a new listing, first listing. Celebrate that listing, folks. Lee, can you tell me the 47th listing you listed? You can always remember the first listing. You can always remember the first buyer. You can always remember the first client you fired. You can always remember, I mean, the first guys prove to you your growth in a business that's supposed to be driving you where you want to go. Celebrate first.
And following broker Dave, it makes sense to have the board dues slide, pay your dues, stay compliant, keep your license, and let's have a good time. And then Lexi is going to talk about what this slide means, because she's told me several times.
Okay, my email has been absolutely flooded with printer code requests for changes. I decided that was not an effective way to do this, so I made a Google form. Okay, now this is not saying as soon as you submit the Google form, you will have a new printer code. I have shared access with the results to our Canon guy who will put them in. I 100% promise you will be notified once it is changed. Okay? I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page and no one's going to come up to me and be like, I submitted the printer code thing. My new printer code's not working. Okay? Is everybody on the same page? I need nodding heads. Yes. Thumbs up. Yeah, if you don't want to
This
change
is
it.
not required.
Yeah, this is not required. I just have gotten a lot of requests for different printer codes.
Vanity printer.
Yes. Thank you, Josh. Okay.
1, 2,
So this
3,
is
4.
not obviously not required. And then for any of you who are still having printing issues, our IT guy, Casey, will be here today after team meeting. So if you feel like sticking around for a little bit and asking him questions on how to get set up with the printer, that would be much appreciated. Any questions, comments, concerns about printer stuff?
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry that was a little aggressive, but I feel like I have to be
I got scared.
to the point.
Do you see her look at me?
Print stuff for you every single day.
All right.
Thank y'all.
And with that, we're going to talk about our culture. So, Will, our cultural icon, come on up here. He's not here. He's picking up a motorcycle right now.
That's okay. The person I'm giving it to he's super like friendly and nice. If you ever shook his hand or talked with him, he's like the nicest guy in this office, I think. Not to like discredit anybody else, but he's super
Shots
nice.
fired.
And he has some really sick art in his office. Not like the best of speeches, so I don't. But I'm giving it to Anthony, who works in commercial. Yeah. And thanks to Makai for giving it to me.
I love it. All right. Y'all, since Anthony isn't here, who wants to share their favorite Y4C2 team? I'll call on someone. There we go. She's on one today. I'm terrified.
Nobody succeeds alone. So for me, it's success is results.
All right, and y'all talked about it earlier, but register right now if you are interested in organizing your Canva or your Google Drive or having AI do agent tasks and take over your computer. Scan that, sign up Wednesday, August 6th, 1 to 2:30 p.m. And y'all, we have some exciting things coming up. We have wealth building today, right after team meeting. we have our MREA Playbook 36 Touch class tomorrow, July 30th, 12 to 2 p.m. right here. And then y'all, I really don't know how I did it, but Phil Jones is coming to this market center in this room. And we're going to play a little hype video. But if you don't know who Phil Jones is, you need to know he is an international speaker. He has advised companies like Google, Microsoft, Mercedes-Benz, and so many other amazing things. And we get to have him right here in this room. Let's get hyped up. And you can hear his accent.
Ladies and gents, good morning. Let's deal with the elephant in the room in the first place. This isn't a Virginia or an Alabama accent from a little place called London, just outside DC.
Ever since a young age, I've had the innate ability to influence other people. It's allowed me to go on and live quite an abundant life. I'm a loving husband. I've run multiple successful businesses, written 5 best-selling books, delivered over 2,000 presentations all around the world. Yeah, I really only know how to do 3 things.
There's only 3 things I'm any good at. And I've learned that if you can get good at those 3 simple things, finding more customers, getting them to come back more often or spend more money when they shop, you can live a fairly abundant life too. There's a few things that you need to do to become excellent in the world of sales. Firstly, you have to understand what selling really is. Selling is earning the right to make a recommendation. You should never, ever, 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 ever recommend a product to a patient unless you can say these words first. It's because of the fact that you said. And for those reasons, we recommend. This makes sense, yes or yes? Because in today's marketplace, if you always do what you've always done, then what happens is somebody does it slightly better, slightly quicker, slightly cheaper, and comes up and picks your pocket. The rule is thus: nobody wants to do business with miserable gits. They don't. And I know you're all dead happy people, right? You're always dead happy. I mean, this is forever. Everybody's happy here. Everybody's happy. I get it. But sometimes you might be forgetting to tell your face.
Feedback from the crowd, you never know what people are going to say, right? But Phil's quick-witted. He's got a great sense of humor. He said some very disruptive things in that room, and you didn't get negative feedback. You got, oh.
He actually seems to really understand and know the language and know the industry and really connect with the people in the audience.
It has everything to do with destroying the option of no. Take that principle, run it into your questions, build enough evidence to mean that no cannot be picked, leaving yes as the only option. You will close more sales. When is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say? See, it's when you're saying it, right? That is the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say, is in the very moment that you are saying it.
When you look under the hood of any business, products people are selling are the same, the training is the same, the leads are the same. In fact, the opportunity is the same. The more I drilled down into it, the more I discovered the people that were crushing it, they knew exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to make it count. And I learned that the right words in the right way would allow people to act on impulse. It would talk towards their subconscious. It would allow them to move more freely. These words would move people out of maybe or those gray areas. And I call these words my magic words.
So knowing that people don't like change, I figured I could play with some words that you could use to get people to maybe be a touch more open to the idea of something you might want to present to them. I've learned a completely rejection-free formula that you can introduce just about anything to just about anybody at any period of time. Questions create conversations, conversations build relationships, relationships create opportunities, opportunities lead to sales.
Successful selling is all about maintaining control of a conversation. And it's the person who is asking the questions that's in control. Taking a few simple magic words, you can lead somebody through some carefully crafted questions. You can help them reach the conclusion that is the right one for them.
In every single marketplace, in every single industry, all across the land, there are people selling what is seeming to be the exact same thing for demonstrably different prices. What is the difference in all of those scenarios? The experience, the presentation is everything that sits around it.
What I like about Phil is that he really cuts to the chase about what it's really about.
Phil by far is one of the most dynamic presenters that I've ever seen. It's exactly what we needed from a keynote speaker today.
Phil talked to one of my salespeople in the break. One of my salespeople then rang one of his prospects. He just had the deal confirmed.
I guess if you take away everything from me, all I really am is a sales trainer, albeit a bloody good one. And the reason that I got into this work is because of the hundreds of people or the thousands of people who are great at what they do, but failing to get the results I knew they were capable of. So I've turned away the hundreds of things that I could be doing with my career to do the thing that really drives me, teaching people to sell.
Opportunity is there for you to go take it. Nobody is going to give it to you. Nobody is coming to save you. You are responsible for your own success. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Who's pumped? Yeah. Well, did you see some of the rooms that he was speaking in? I mean, he speaks to like 20,000 people, 50,000 people at a time, and he's going to be in this room for you to soak up all of it. Hey, you're welcome. I was honestly, I surprised myself with that one. Yeah, I kind of freaked out when they emailed me. They're like, "Can we just come into your market center?" I was like, "Yes, you can. You definitely can." So y'all. But y'all definitely be here Thursday. We're gonna have a watch party for the market update right before, and then Phil will be here from 12 to 1:30. First 30 minutes conversation, and then an hour just to meet and greet, get your book signed, get your role play cards signed, and just soak up all of his little British wisdom.
And if you don't have a book, there will be books for sale while he is here. There will be signed copies, we're hoping.
Yeah,
So,
he'll sign.
Yep, signed copies. So, yeah, if you don't have one, get one.
Talk to Audrey if you
Audrey.
would like
Yeah.
to buy one.
I'm so tired. Okay, thank y'all.
We're gonna take the mic from her in a second. All right, and then we've talked a lot about it. The golf committee. Look at it. Wednesday, September 10th. Oh my gosh, Samantha did a outfit change. The entire. Oh my gosh. It's like a flash mob. This is amazing. Oh, okay.
All the cool kids are going to be at the golf tournament, so you guys should probably get yourself there. So we have officially called all of our preferred partners, all of our agents, all of our preferred. So now we are asking for help from all of you. We need to tap into all of your efforts. If you're not a golfer, you still can invite your clients and friends to golf. If you know somebody who'd like to get themselves out there, they own a business, they can be whole sponsors. They can not We're looking for raffle prizes. People are limited on funds and costs. Might have some options about merch, raffle ticket, or opportunity tickets for like the opportunity prizes, so that we can just have as many baskets as we possibly can. So we just need all of your help. The committee is amazing, but we cannot do it. So help.
Love it. And then we have our preferred partner breakfast, August 5th from 9 to 10:30
Liza?
a.m. Yes.
If every agent in here would donate even a $25 gift card, it would be killer for the golf course. So every agent, one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right on. Talk to your accountants. All right. So mark your calendars for that. And we have Amir coming up from Luminary Lending to give us some fun stuff.
How's everybody doing? Good to see you. I won't take a lot of your time. Your time is valuable. I just wanted to point out a few kind of cool things that are going on right now. So we've been talking a lot about mortgage-backed securities and what they're doing, and this is kind of how we look at what the price is. And really what I wanted to just show you today because I've been talking about how we've been staying in this trend line, and you can kind of see over the time that there's a similar slope. So like the trend lines continue pretty systematically. It's something that kind of follows a certain path. So we're still in that moment of rates kind of being in that same range that we've had for a few months. If you look at the 10-year treasury, if I press this button. Okay, didn't have the slide. Sorry. So the 10-year treasury is the same thing. This I want to show you the S&P. Everybody's talking about doom and gloom, but there's a lot smarter people involved in stock trading, and we're at all-time highs. And we've been at all-time highs continuing. This is really a graph that goes back pretty significantly. This is kind of that crash that we had in April, but we're still in a really good place, which means investors are not as scared of kind of what we're hearing. You might have heard the term inverse yield curve. I just want to introduce what an inverse yield curve kind of means. Everybody's talking about, oh, there should be a recession because there's inverse yield curve. It really is when the 10-year treasury and the 2-year treasury offset. So if you think about it, if I give you $100 and I give you, I'm going to give you that money for 10 years, I'm going to expect to get a better return than if I give it to you for 2 years. Right? And that makes sense. I'm going to give it to you for a longer time. I want a better return. Well, when it's inverse, that means you get a better return on that lower time period. Every time in the red, we've had an inverse yield curve, and look this all the way back in the 80s. And these little lines right here are showing a recession that came right after that. Those recessions are usually 4 to 6 months out. We're literally at that cusp about 6-7 months away from when the inverse yield curve went back, and then we'll kind of have a jump. So there's some technical data that's pushing us to think more aggressively about the contraction. Josh is sharing those numbers. It's what's happening with our housing market is affecting us directly. There's contraction. Today we had the JOLTS report. There's contraction happening with job openings. There is contraction happening. But that actually means there's opportunity that's around the corner for you guys. Because with contraction comes lower interest rates. And we know that's the one thing right now that's kind of holding us up and holding up our market is really where those interest rates are sitting. This morning, we had some appreciation numbers coming out, and I wanted to emphasize this because they're a little bit misleading. One of the things that they're saying is there's actually a reduction in home price appreciation. This is a home price appreciation. This isn't home price, how much it appreciates. But there's a seasonal adjustment that comes into that. A seasonal adjustment means, well, we sell more houses in May than we do in December. So because of that, if I have a huge jump in May, I'm going to take that out of the equation and not use that in my overall calculations. So when you have a seasonal adjustment, then we're actually seeing that appreciation drop. But if you remove the seasonal adjustment, appreciation is actually on the rise. Okay, so that just means, it doesn't mean that we're not experiencing a slowdown, because we all know we are. It just means it's not as drastic as what we think it might be. Okay, of course, we need the Fed to participate. We need some motion that's happening in fiscal policy in order to help us avoid what's going on. May over May or April over April. Yeah, it's like a 1 year. So if you look at the news this week, and this is why I brought all this stuff up before, is kind of what's happening this week. This week is actually a pivotal week for what's going to happen over the next 6 months. And this is something that you could share with your clients or other partners, or what you're talking about. This is really what we can expect. So this morning we had the JOLTS report. The JOLTS report is once a month. It tells how many job openings are in the market, and they kind of tracked how much. It's usually pretty steady, but they track how much it moves up and down. There was a contraction there where the JOLTS report came down maybe like 300,000. This is like 7.5 million or so every month job openings that are available. That came down. Tomorrow we'll have the ADP payroll job numbers. So that's the private payroll numbers. That kind of shows you how many job creation from the private sector. That's a number that moves rates. Also tomorrow we have monthly GDP numbers, gross domestic product. That's how much our market is growing, not necessarily just real estate, our market in general. That's a big market. The biggest one is the interest rate decision. So the Fed is meeting. They started their meeting today, and then they'll come out with data that's going to come out, and they're going to make a decision on whether they're going to move rates or not. Now, we all are not anticipating them to change rates. They could. We're not anticipating them to change rates, but it's not just about whether they change rates or not. It's also about what they are saying the mood of the economy is and what to expect into the future. And actually, for the first time in like 30 years, there's some pretty substantial dissent with some of the other Fed presidents to where the chairman, Jerome Powell's decision making is about reducing interest rates. So there's actually some real, these guys usually fall in line, everybody falls in line, and there's some real changes that are happening within that could affect those decisions. On the 31st, on Thursday, we have inflation numbers, PCE inflation numbers, another market mover. And then on Friday, we have the unemployment number. So there's a huge motion that's going to happen over the next few days. You can wake up in Monday in a really different market environment that you have right now. So what does this really mean for you guys? It really means that if you have somebody under contract, I would lock in their interest rate right now. If you're not locked in, if they haven't locked in their interest rate, you definitely want to do it. Make sure to talk to us about it. If you have clients that can't get it figured out, we will help them get over that hump and make sure to lock in their interest rate. One of the benefits of working with us is we work with multiple banks. So even if the rates get better, we can lock in an interest rate ahead of this type of motion that's happening, and your client isn't surprised in 4 days where suddenly their payment went up $300. Because that's really what this could result with. And if the payment could go down at $300, we can take advantage. And we can tell them, hey, guess what? We took advantage of you. We protected you, but hey, we can take advantage of something better. Okay? Last thing. So it's our trip that we're doing. I think there's 12 people that have signed up. We're all going to Detroit together with a few of our loan officers. It's going to be a party. If you're not on this trip, we will send you some pictures. There is still a chance to get on a wait list. We locked it all in. So if there's somebody that still wants to go and you haven't had an opportunity to talk to us about this, you'll be meeting other agents from all over the country in different markets with different brokerages, with different ideas, some mastermind activities, and we'll be going out and having fun and just sharing each other and having some fun time. So it's all expenses. So hopefully you guys can look at it. Those of you guys that signed up, we're excited to have you, and we'll keep appointed on future trips that we get to do. Thank you.
Amazing. And now we have the Merida Market Talk.
So thanks, Amir, for the big, broad overview. I loved it. Liza last week did a big zoom out and then a tight zoom in, and I love it that Amir just talked about the overall market. And so I want you to look at some of these slides. Last week, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start small last week, and we're going to go big. So last week, some things happened. I want you to look at this graph and this graph. What do you see? Some stuff, some declines, right? But look what happened 3 weeks ago. The same thing. What happened last week that could have happened 3 weeks ago that would have caused decline? There was a holiday. Thank you, Josh. It's like I planted you there with the right answer. But the same thing happened here. So this is our listings. Listings were down last week, which generally feels like, oh, maybe we're not getting as much inventory. And price reductions also went down. Can you see how maybe a seller would say, hey, it's the holiday. Let's just hold through the holiday. And maybe we'll look at after the holiday doing some price reductions. And maybe after the holiday, we're going to list. Okay, so that could have been, but what I want you to see in this graph, what didn't go down? Under contracts went up. And what does that tell you? That means our buyers are still shopping, even over the holiday. They were looking and shopping and getting under contract. Okay, so our buyers are still shopping. Okay, scroll for me a little bit. Let's holiday week. Homes placed in pending status, 5% increase in those under contracts week over week. Okay, even with the holiday in there. Solds were down. You can see how we had 1 to 2 days less in the week because Thursday and potentially Friday people took off. So we had fewer days to get our solds done. Listings, expired cancels were about the same. We're holding on a lot of these things. Go back up to the top for me. Thank you so much. Active listings, kind of holding at right around 13,000. And then Days on market kind of holding right around 2 months. This chart is going from 53 to 61 days. So even our swing on days on market is not huge. We're talking about a week from 53 to 61. Okay, so we're right at 58 as of last week. Okay, so that's what happened last week in our market. But go down to my next set of graphs because I want you to see what's happening year over year. Okay, this year versus last year, 5% up on the count of sales. So we have sold more homes this year than we did last year. Okay, and our under contracts are up this year as well. So we've had some things that are making it so our year is stronger. Scroll up to the next one for me though. So year to date, from the beginning of the year till now, last year, this is 2024, 28,000 listings. This year, 32. We've had more listings available, which is why we've had more sales, because you have more homes to sell, then you got more inventory you can sell. But look at this, our closed sales are not up very much. And so this is what's causing our inventory to creep up because even though we're putting a lot of homes on the market, we've had slightly more sales this year. And some of this, this is where we're seeing the housing inventory is increasing. And if you go to the next slide, you can see this. So this is a graph from 2017 to 2025. And you can just see that this is kind of an anomaly. But you look at how much months of supply is our green line, absorption rates are blue line, and the gap between is our inventory. So you see this gap widening, we are getting more inventory. So what happens if our rates improve? We're going to jump into that inventory and use it up fast. Okay. And if the rates stay where they are, we're going to continue to see things holding where they are. All right, jump to my next graph there. It's a really good graph, I promise. Okay, so this is our actual inventory. So this is from 2014. I love big data. I like to see when somebody shows me 2 years, I'm like, that doesn't give me much of a trend. So 2014 to 2025, here is our COVID years. So you can see we have a lot of inventory. 2014, we're coming off of that 2008. We have zero inventory, and then all of a sudden we're back up to 13. So this is high. This is the highest we've had in over 10 years, right? We do have some inventory in there. This one is our appreciation. So like Amir said, prices are not coming down. The rate of appreciation is coming down. So this is line 0. And we are going, so how fast we're appreciating? 4%, 2015. We appreciate, we're going even faster and faster, and then we slow a little bit, 2019 to 2021. And here's our COVID years when appreciation was wild. And here's where we dropped, June of 2022. Boom. And then we start appreciating again. Now that we're just to our 0 line, just slight appreciation. That's not our prices, that's the next graph. This one's my favorite. This is prices on the Wasatch Front from 2002 to 2025. Okay, so when people are like, oh, you know what? You don't see very many areas where prices come down. This is 2008. And you see this gentle decline. And this is 2022. And we went down, and we went up, and we went down, we went up, we went down, we went up. We don't know if we're peaked yet. Have you guys seen Gary Keller where he does the thing and he's like, are prices going up? They're going up. They're going up. Are they going to go down? Are they going to go down? Are they going to, oh, wait, we're going down. Are they going up? Are they going up? We don't know. We don't know what we're going to peak. Last year, usually we peak in June. Last year, we had a weird burst in the fall. This was our peak last year. It's in October, which is really unusual. Usually we're peaking in June. So we don't know. We don't know if we're peaking already. We don't know if we're going to have another push into the fall, but we could be hitting the top with prices, or maybe we might not. So what is all this? What's the conversation? So at the end of the day, please remember, if you are a buyer, is that there are other buyers out there. Our inventory does seem to be holding. Okay, so you're not likely to get a whole bunch more houses on the market. So if you got a reason to move, pick the house you like, get your interest rate locked in, like Amir said, and go ahead and move forward on your house, because appreciation is, you look at this trend, homes appreciate. Okay, real estate's a good investment at any point. For your sellers, we're a little bit of a lull from the holiday where a lot of sellers held off. So now's a good time to jump on the market when you don't have as much competition. So anytime we're around that holiday season, boy, it's nice that you're not competing. And again, interest rates are wild cards. So we know the market today. We know what's happening today. And we don't know what the market of the future will be like. Like Amir said, we could wake up on Monday and rates could be higher. We could wake up on Monday and they'll be lower. Like Broker Dave says, is the market going up? Most certainly, unless it goes down. Like Amir talked about, here's just the blow up on the prices. Okay, this is May of 2022. Average price 613. This is just the Wasatch Front, by the way. We are today as of June 613,400. Okay, so pretty much holding, even though there's been some up and down, we're pretty much holding on those values. So when people tell you they're waiting for the market to crash, yep. Okay, so your buyers, your sellers, pull this up. It'll be on the link tree, I think. Yes, so it's on the link tree. You can follow that up. Logan Motoshami talks about interest rates. He talks about he's talking about on a national level that the same thing is happening with inventory kind of stalling out. So housing inventories is not growing as fast as it has been. It's kind of all steadying out, which means that we're not going to see a whole flood of homes come on the market. Okay, which if that happened, we would see prices get forced down. But if the inventory holds with the current buyer rates and the current under contract rates that we have and the absorption rates that we have, we should see that just all kind of hold. Okay, and talks about price cuts. He's talking about how we are seeing more price cuts with the inventory as the inventory creeps up, and so not necessarily sold price levels coming down, but the actual people are getting more. Josh talked about anchoring bias, right? When you're anchored into a price that you thought you could get, even though you can't necessarily get it. And purchase application data is up, continues to be up year over year. So people are taking out mortgages. They are moving forward with purchases. So that is what is happening in the market. Go out and read it on the link tree for more data, because we love data. And go rock it with your clients.
Okay. Y'all, I mean, that was really interesting. Also kind of scary because I'm trying to buy a house right now. That's a pretty high average price point, but that's fine. So I want to talk about getting ready for Phil Jones on Thursday, right? So what we say matters, but how we think before we speak is where that mastery actually begins. 70% of client loyalty is based on how they feel during the process, not just the outcome. So the best way to close more deals isn't to talk more, it's to think more clearly before you open your mouth. I have to do that a lot. So how many of you have said the perfect script and still didn't get the result? Have you ever had a client thank you, not for your strategy, but for your energy and for your clarity or your patience? That's what we're trying to go toward. You don't get paid to speak, you get paid to create certainty and clarity with your clients. Y'all, Phil is coming to give you all of the precision, but precision only works if your intention and your energy and your curiosity are aligned with it. And the words are the tool, but the mindset is the hand that will wield it. And so clients today, y'all, are scary. They're more informed, they're way more skeptical, and they're more overwhelmed as well. 41% of buyers say that their number one fear is making the wrong decision. And that's not a price problem, it's a clarity problem. And so clarity starts before you ever even speak. And as an agent, especially in this type of industry, in this role, we want to have control over everything. We walk into appointments, we want to get a yes. But the best way to build trust with someone is to release that control. So instead of that mindset of how do I get them to list by say yes on a first go route, how can you help them feel safe or clear or seen? So instead of asking the question, are you ready to move forward? Say, what would help you feel completely confident about this decision? Instead of saying, let's list now before the market changes. Say, would it be helpful if we explored the pros and cons of listing now versus later together? Your job is not to convince someone. Your job is to create clarity. So think of the last conversation where you felt pushy. What would have changed if you had released the outcome? Do you think they would have built back that trust with you? 84% of people say that they'd rather feel understood than be right. So be a curious agent. Ask, what's the biggest fear on your mind right now? And then if everything worked out and I could wave a magic wand, what would success look like 90 days from now? And what's stopping you from taking the next step? Curiosity is the gateway to building trust. So write 3 questions that you could ask this week that start with a, what would it feel like if? Would you be open to? Or how would you feel if we did this? And then you'll mirror their language. Get to know their language and mirror it. People tell you how to sell them if you're listening closely enough. You want to mirror the motive, not the script. So if someone says, I don't want to feel rushed, then pacing is their pain point. They want to feel in control. So say, okay, I get it. I totally understand. We'll move at your pace so nothing ever feels rushed or unclear. If someone says, I'm worried about overpaying, their fear is regret. They want to feel smart. So you want to really explain everything in detail. That makes total sense. Let's create a data-backed strategy so you feel confident every step of the way. If a client says, I'm just exploring, which they say every day, they want low pressure. They don't want to be sold. So great, I'm here to help you explore without pressure so you can move forward when it feels right. Create the clarity and don't push for them, because if you're trying to control the outcome, that's where you're going to break the trust. They want to feel in control and they want to be able to decide. And again, Phil Jones is going to teach you the exact words that work, but those words only work if you bring the presence and the curiosity and the awareness to match. Can't sound like a pro if you're thinking like a rookie. And precision comes with presence, not just performance. So remember to listen to what people are saying. If you're thinking about everything that you should say, you're just thinking about the script, do you think that you're actually listening to their response? And can you respond to that response in real time? No. You'll respond the script that you've been rehearsing over and over in your head. And the script could be something completely off base from what they just responded to. And they're going to be like, what did you just say? Did you just listen to the 5 minutes of me talking? So really create that clarity. And we talked about how you could use ChatGPT for this, but create a client language log as well. Start putting that type of note into your database. When you're communicating with someone, write down the key phrases that they're saying. If they're saying, I don't want to feel rushed, or I'm scared that I'm going to make the wrong decision, write that in your notes that they've said that 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, because that's telling you what they need and how they need to be communicated with. You don't need more words, you just need more awareness. And with that, I want y'all to be aware of the rock star that we have in this house, and we're going to do a get to know you session. Just like we got to know Justin last month, we're going to get to know Samantha this month. Woo-hoo! Y'all like how I did that little segue? Didn't even plan that. Try. All right. So we're going to do just some rapid fire questions. And for those that don't know, since she's, already standing up here in the front of the room, so comfortable as she is the #1 agent in our office right now. She's been kicking butt. Yeah, to you. I'm sure you're really happy that I said that. So what's your morning non-negotiable that sets the tone for your day?
I don't talk to people before 10 a.m.
And she's serious, pretty much. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, with me for other people's safety, so that I don't go to prison, because I hate the morning.
Yep.
I really, really. And so I think that on
talk to you before 10 a.m. I love it. Self-awareness. What's one system or habit that changed everything for your business?
I would say just thinking about where I want to be, and not taking myself like have fun with it. I know that's not the system. But yeah, the habit. It's okay when you make a mistake. It's okay to make a mistake. Just who I am, take it or leave it.
Who inspires you? And
all of the agents who show up. Like I think it's fun seeing a brand new agent super excited to come have their wins, and then the agents who have been doing it forever and ever and ever, and are so smart and have made really really good choices. Come talk, interact, want, and have fun.
what's been your proudest moment this year?
I did my biggest deal.
What was it?
Well, I closed one for 11 million, and I have one under contract.
What do you wish more people knew about the realities of real estate?
It is hard. It is really hard, and it costs a lot of money. Like, you have to be willing to put money in order to get money out. You have to be willing to put time in to get the results that you want. And it's okay that it's hard, that I have to close. There has been a time where I went from September to February with 0 closings. It was before Jordan, and so I was just going on a lot of dates so that I could eat. Because I was like afraid I was going to starve to death. That's like true. And then, this year's been like really great. So I think being understanding that there's ebbs and flows.
What do you do when you're in a slump?
Work harder.
Double down. Dig deeper. I love it. If you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing?
Stay-at-home girlfriend. Probably physical therapy. That's what I wanted to do before real estate, and then 7 years is just so real estate 120. Works better.
And then if you could only market yourself in 3 words, what would those words be?
Fun, integrity, and excitement.
We love you.
Thank you.
And you're amazing. I hope you had fun getting to know her. Perfect. All right. And with that, wants and needs, everybody. Who passed?
Okay, I got a few things. I still have my huge basketball house in Centerville. I'm looking for someone that wants to do an open house on Saturday. I have one, Emma's doing one Friday night, but if anyone's interested, it's just under 1.5. We have an appraisal for 1.5, so we have equity day one. If anyone wants to look into that, talk to me after this. I also have a listing in Kearns, Salt Lake area. We had a buyer send us an offer, ask us to cancel the open house, told us they were going to be homeless. We accepted the offer, went the next day, got under contract on a new house, and then they canceled on us on Monday. So we are scrambling now because we are under contract on a home contingent on selling this one, and we didn't want to have to do this. And so now we're back at square one. So I'm looking for someone to do an open house on that one, either Thursday or Friday night from 5 to 7. I've already got a Saturday and a Sunday lined up. I just want to blast through as many open houses as I can because we lost our first weekend. So if anyone knows anyone that's got any of those things, if they're interested, please come to me.
have a new listing that's coming up. It's a really small home, actually. It's 1,100 square feet. It's a brick. Very well kept. New roof, new furnace, new central water, new solar panels. The yard is in great shape. Vinyl fence that they just put up. It's around 600 east, 3,800 south. Great location. And we're looking at just 425. So it does need some work. It needs some new flooring. If you pull up the carpet, it's got beautiful hardwood.
Yeah, and to tag on that, in the past, we have had people combine ticket orders at the office. Is that something we could have Lexi track if anybody wants tickets? Because you get 20 or more tickets, then they're only $10 each. And so if you want some tickets, can you let Lexi know and we can maybe get them all together so that we all get the deal?
About to say, I'm assuming a Google form will be in the future.
That's tomorrow, right? And then we have a cute little house in North Ogden, best awesome neighborhood up north. It is 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. We are dropping price on that from $399 to $389. And so if anyone would like to hold an open house up there, we would be looking for someone to hold that open on Saturday. It's been remodeled, super cute. And best price in the zip code 84441.
All right, and I have a want as well, and Justin just raised his hand too, but we have a new member of the family, and it's Justin. I just dropped off the mic subtly right by him. So Justin, introduce yourself. One on the court, number one in our hearts. Justin. Other Justin.
I have a Provo townhome in basically it's like 30 townhomes in a $1.5 million neighborhood up on the East Bench above Timpview. Need an open house on Saturday. We're going to go live on that listing tomorrow. If you're interested in that. 575 what? No, just one townhome. Sorry. It's in a, yeah, I speak dumb. Just one open house, 575. Anybody interested? Let me know.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And then we have, I can smell it, some great chicken outside. We have Meth Mob. And I don't think there's any meth in the chicken, but hope there's not.
We'll see.
That was a weird comment of me to make. I'm going to sit
It's
down
in the
now.
water. It's in the water. Thank you for having me. Each time I get to come here, I'm always inspired. I always learn something from your office. You guys are amazing. And I mean that. Most of you already know what we do, Matt. It's the only thing we do. If you call me up and go, would you do asbestos or mold or anything like that, I'll refer you to somebody great. But we do math. So we're 9 years old. You guys have been a part of that success for 9 years. So thank you for giving us work and giving us the opportunity. 9 years later, I can give you a little bit more information on what we do. I've always been committed to safe houses. So whatever seller's moving into a house, if we're involved in it, I promise you, I put my own grandkids in it. We pre-test houses. When we're pre-testing, we're looking hard to find it, not to line my pockets more, but to make sure that the person who's moving in there is moving into a safe house. By raise of hands, how many of you have had a full decontamination from meth lab before? It's kind of painful. In some cases, it's really horribly painful. Sometimes it's kind of seamless. Most of our work is a full decontamination work. Turn out carpet and pad. We're bubbling paint. We're extending your closing. We're freaking out buyers. We're freaking out sellers. And it's kind of a painful process, but not all of them are that. And what I want you to know is we're here working for you to make it as least painful as possible. And I want to tell you of the least painful thing that we're doing. So you know there's stuff in the middle. Probably 65% of our work is a full decontamination. That leaves easy 30–40% that isn't a full decontamination. One of the things we're doing right now is a house where they asked us to come in and do a pre-test on it. The pre-test came back at 10 micrograms. We tested 3 areas, so the average was 3.3 micrograms. And the state standard is you can have 1 microgram per 100 square centimeters. So it's clearly over the limit. And so they said, well, when we went in and did the pre-test, they were actually putting in new carpet that day. So I said, well, let's pre-test, pre-clearance test. So there's a difference between a pre-test in due diligence, which is where we're going, is there meth in this house and kind of what levels are we looking? Then there is clearance testing, which only certified decontamination specialists can do. And there's like 30 in the state. I employ 6 of them. So it's a pretty small number that clears rooms. So I said, let's go through and clear some of these rooms because I think some of them are going to be under the legal limit. So this seller had to pay us to do pre-clearance testing, which is a risk up front, right? If they're paying us to test and it's over the limit, then they paid me to test, then I'm going to rip out the granite carpet, then I'm going to decon the room and charge them for it. So we went in and pre-tested this house, and there were 4 rooms that failed. And in these 4 rooms, and like I told you in the beginning, we're looking hard to find them. We're not looking. I'm not going to test over a freshly painted wall. That's not telling me what I want to know. Neither is my full-time tester. So I looked at the pictures where my tester tested, and in these 4 rooms, the ceiling test, she had tested on the ceiling blade fans because they were the nasty part of the room. They were the dirty part. So every room in this house passed except those 4 rooms with the ceiling fans. So then I went back to the seller and went, we need to pre-test again. And I'm going to throw away your ceiling fans, and we're going to test these rooms again. And again, it's a risk. I'm selling work to a seller, an owner, basically running a risk so that I don't have to decontaminate. It doesn't need decontamination. And if it needs it, we're going to do it. But if it doesn't, we also have enough knowledge to go, let's try this and this and this. To save a little bit of money, you still have a safe house. Every house doesn't need a hangar and a full decon. And we know enough to plant some seeds and go, let's try a little of this. Now, sometimes we're wrong. I'll tell you, sometimes I self-clearance testing on a house and the whole thing fails and I'm like, holy shit, I'm a scum. But most of the time we know what we're doing. And sometimes they're educated guesses too. But with over 2,000 houses, we've got a lot of information with odds that can help a seller save some money and a buyer be in a safe house. And that's 100% what MethMod is about. It's making sure we can keep your deal together. I'm always actively working to keep your deal together. And sometimes meth gets a little dicey. You got buyers who are like, I'm out, I'm not buying the meth lab in the neighborhood, and it's not. I'm always trying to keep that engagement in the So no, that's what Meth Mob is about, keeping your bill together, putting buyers in safe houses, and always having your back. So hopefully that's valuable. I'm happy to stick around for questions, but I'm sure you guys are chomping at the bit. So do you guys have any quick questions before we tear you loose on the food? 100%. Every phone call is not a sell, and a lot of them it's like, go live your best life. You don't need us. I'll tell you if you do. Tell you if you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, go eat.